First thing we're going to do, and please send it to me to the video. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to try to connect the 4 pieces that we have going on. So the first thing I'm going to do is do my 1/2 inch seam allowance or quarter, either or. We want to reverse the seam to lock it into place, and then sew. Reverse the other end, grab the other piece. Right side facing each other. The machine sewing on its own. I'm gonna sew straight down, keeping the same seam allowance, 3/8 or 1/2 inch, whatever one you pick. Cut your thread. While you're sitting down, press this open with your hands. Do the same thing to the other piece. Or the iron, either or. Me, I just press with my hand. Grab both fabric, self or front, facing each other, right at the same pin. And then now we're going to start pinning all pieces together. And most people I know, they start the sewing, don't sew. You should actually pin because this fabric moves a lot. Actually, it's the opposite side, sorry. So flip it in a way where the 2 corners here can meet. Okay. What I like to do, after you pin it or before you pin it, you can sew the corners. So the best way to sew these type of corners is to start sewing 1/4 inch from the very beginning. No reverse stitch needed. Just sew straight down 1/4, all the way down. Grab the other side. After I sew both sides, what I'm going to do now is stabilize this seam to its front, exactly matching. Now you pin it. Remember we had I put a notch about 2 inches away.
2 inches to a pin.
Make sure you put the pin to that 2 inch to remind you not to pass it. And what I normally do as a reminder, I put 2 pins.
Not to pass it?
You should only stop here. You should not
Stop
pass.
and then pick up?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I have that. I'm going to pin this. Remember, pin downwards in the direction of where you're going to sew down so you can pull the pin out.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we issue digital certificates, and then you would have to print out yourself. You should receive your
Some people like to freestyle and sew this. Don't do it because this fabric moves. When they move, it's not going to be even. So what I'm going to do now that I have one side pin, I'm going to start from the double pin, slide it where the 1/4 seam is. Or 3/8 we had, right? 3/8. There's the 3/8. Put your needle into the fabric, move the 2 pin. I always start from the 2 pin first so I don't forget. Drop my foot and I'm going to do a little reverse to lock it in. Then after that, I'm going to sew my 3/8. When I get to the pin, leave the needle in, move the first pin, sew to the next pin. Stop, leave the needle in. So what I'm doing is just sewing from pin to pin. And adjust my fabric to make sure they're both on the same edge. And for the corner, you want to go all the way across, like that. Right? You want it to have these two lines like this. I started at the pin. Now I'm going to find the same 2 inches on the opposite side. And I'm going to pin there, because that's where I'm going to start. What I'm going to do is just place it in the machine for now. Put my needle down. Remember not to sew until you pin everything. So I'm going to go ahead and start pinning. The best thing to do is to use these ball pins because you get to see them.
I like them much better.
Yeah. The other pins are...
I know our ball pins.
Yeah, the other pins are for the draping. All right. Now I'm here. I'm going to do my reverse to lock it in. And then I'm going to sew my 3/8. The machine is stuck under somewhere where it's sewing by itself. Where I'm looking, I'm not looking at the needle. I'm actually looking at the fabric lining up with the edge. That's where I'm really looking. On this edge. I'm going to continue all the way down. Make sure you cut these threads.
It's got a thread. I see you push or something, the thread is cutted.
Yeah, it's a scissor here that cut. This is like a high-tech machine. So remember, the first thing you start sewing is 2 inches away, go down, 2 inches, go down. Now we're going to sew straight across, the easy part. So what I'm going to do is start from the very end.
Are you going to pin it?
Yeah, I'm going to pin. Leave it down and pin. You can even pin this way if you want. Just make sure it's straight because you can run over those pins like that.
I broke a needle or two. I think
Because yours was slanted like this.
Yeah.
If it's like this, it's going to break. But if it's like this, it won't. Let's pin it. I'm going to pin there, and then when I stop, I pin the other. So we're going to sew. Oh, my thread got caught. Oh, wait. The needle came out. So these scarves, you'll see it's less than what? We have barely even been here for 15 minutes. So the goal, let's say if I want to make like 20, I'll take 1 day and cut all 20. Then the next day I sit and sew all 20.
Yeah.
In case if your thread come out, just start from the same part, overlock it. Now watch me run over the needle and it won't break.
Good job.
I'm gonna sew. Now when we're coming back to this part, you want to be very careful. Make sure the seam is open, not closed. All right, you see how this one's closed? You have to open it because when it's closed, one side is going to be thicker than the other.
Can I see what that looks like?
Right? Seam to seam.
Seam to seam. And
Make sure both seams are open. You can lay it flat.
Great.
One side we left open to turn around. The other side we have to close it off. gonna sew all the way on the crossing end. All right, now after we do that, just take it to your cutting board, and these pieces that's on the corner, we're going to give it a little bit snippet right on the edge, leaving about 1/8 of an inch. And I also like to trim this down a little bit. I don't like it to be too much, so it can be neater. Make sure you remove all your pins before you turn them around. So anytime we have something like this on the corner, just cut it, leaving about 1/8. Now that we have everything sewn, we're gonna go in here now and reverse. You have a seam ripper? Yeah, don't move the camera, let her get it.
Oh, sorry.
Get the seam ripper from there, because I might want to edit this video and do some magic with music to it. So we're gonna get the seam ripper. Don't go too hard for you rip it. Just tuck these pieces out to create that perfect corner. And if you don't cut the corners, it's not gonna look very pointy like this. It will look very bad. All right. Now what we're gonna do is come to the iron. This is the fun part. You need me, Tyler, or are you just enjoying the fun?
Just enjoying.
You miss your sewing days?
Yeah. I'm trying to get back into it.
You should come. Thursdays there were classes and Saturdays. So make sure the first thing I'm going to start pressing is one side. Just pick whatever side. So first I'm going to start with this side. I'm going to force it at the exact corner. If you need to pin the corner, the first corner down, do that. I'm going to first start by pulling on one side. And I'm going to press that side. So don't press everything at once. You have to press them little by little so you can lay really flat. I guess the iron needs a little bit more time. You see how we're laying flat? So the goal is for it to lay flat on the seam. Once you finish pressing one side, repin it. What I'd like to do is pull it a little bit so you can force the seam to roll. Notice I'm rolling it a little bit. And you see I'm pressing only this side. I'm not putting the iron on the entire amount because I didn't adjust this side. If you press the whole thing, whatever this is, left or right, it's gonna just press, and we don't want that. So now that I got that side done, I'm gonna do the bottom. I'm gonna do the side first. Then I'm going to grab this side and start pressing this side now. Yeah, you don't want your scarf to be 3 inches and then one side 2 inches, 1 inch here. They need to be even. Now if you want to press the whole part, you can, because you adjusted this end. And see, it start to give you like the equal amount, same amount. Roll it to the end. So I'm just gonna continue all the way down. I'm rolling it to bring it to the edge and then I press. Now everybody in your family gonna want a scarf. now that I did that part, I'm gonna do the side. Press this side. Perfect gift for Christmas. Put your labels on it, order your labels, put the labels on it, and put it in the gift bag and hand it to all your family member. They're gonna think you just gave them $1 million bucks.
Where do you get labels from? Where can you order
I can
them?
order them for you
Oh,
here.
yeah?
Okay.
Now we have this part. How we accomplish this part is whatever our seam allowance is, we fold it to that amount. So it was 3/8. I'm gonna fold 3/8, 3/8. Tuck it in for the 3/8 and then press.
And that's the part you have to sew.
That's the part we're gonna hand sew. Now don't go tucking in a quarter and then one piece sticking out and it look bigger than the 3-inch. If it looks bigger than what you already have going, like I made this one look, you see the curve? That means it's too big. You didn't take in enough seam. See, it's a quarter, we need 3/8, so roll it more to get to the correct number. Okay, now we have our scarf. We're gonna go hand sew it by hand, my fun part. Let me grab a needle. Close up that line. Now some people they top stitch it and it looks very tacky, and I hate top stitching on scarves. So this is the thread. I threaded it one. I left like one piece. Now most people tend to knot the bottom. I don't really do that. What I do is I grab the needle, slide it in the fabric, bring it all the way to the end. Right before I pulled out all the thread, I do that and I knot it and lock it in. You can do it one more time. Now the thread is secure. I'm going to close the piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start to loop them from the inside, blind stitching it. Grab a piece from there, a piece from in here. What I'm doing, I'm grabbing a piece from here. So about 1/8 from one side. And I'm going inside the fabric, not the outside. Because you don't want the outside to show, the thread to show on the outside. Grab the inside, 1/8. Try to do them 2 by 2 so you don't be on this forever. So that's 1. Then 2. And you're just going to repeat this step. This is so small the eye cannot see it, so nobody will even know, except if they really know sewing, how you close up the scarf. So what I'm going to do is what we call I call it swimming. Swim the needle in between. You can tell I'm a rookie at this. I haven't done this in like centuries. So I'm just bending the needle left and right until I slide it through. Because the needle's so tiny and the thread's so tiny, people cannot see it. I'm just pinching it with the tip of the needle. Slide it in. And why I say use print fabric, because no one can see nothing through the print. You can barely see what I'm doing. How many more we have open? I can't wait to see what type of scarf you guys gonna create. Yeah, try to pick a nice fabric too. Okay. Yeah, don't come with some boring fabric. All right, now we're all the way to the end. I'm going to lock it back in the same manner we started. So I'm going to slide the needle, take the end of this part, wrap it around the needle, pull the needle up. That's one. I would do it like a few times just to secure it. Maybe like one more. Now, after I do that, I don't just cut the thread here because the thread gonna be sticking out. What I do, I tuck the needle back in, bring it out from another side, grab my needle, my scissor, pull it a little bit and then cut, and the thread will snap back into the fabric. After that, I go back to my iron. And the very thing you just did with your hand, you need to press it, because if you don't, it's not gonna look smooth. And voila, we have a scarf.
Very nice.
You can even like tuck this in and put like a little bow something here to give it that look that we had, or leave it like this. And there you go, you have a scarf. So sometimes what I normally do, I would do one color this side, one color that side, or do inside another color the outside. You can get creative with it.
Now, where would you put your label?
I will put it right in the center. So let me show you guys. I just have my box of labels somewhere around here. Then I won't see a label thing. Oh, right here. So this is the label.
Want to hold it up first?
Yeah, that's the label. What we do, fold the label in half, so you can find the center. And this is the center. I'm going to place the center of the label in the center. And then I'm going to pin it so I can go hand sew it. Or by machine. I will say this step, do it by machine, because hand sewing, it comes out and the person might be boasting all day about your brand. So what I'm going to do is just put my needle into the label, and I'm going to sew down very slow and reverse it, and that's it. Cut. And do the same thing to the other side. Make sure it's straight and even. The best thing to do is first put the needle in the label to hold it down. Drop the foot, and then we're gonna sew reverse. You don't need to overdo it, because if you overdo the reverse, it's just gonna make it look tacky. We are in business. All right. So now look, the person, if they really want to promote your brand, they can wear it like this, or they can flip it like this. But they can use this to do it on the back, to tie it on the neck. They can even make like a little bow tie and tuck it on their shirt, for all I know. All right. Some people even make it into a bow and put it on the dress.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
All right, so there you go. You have a hair tie. All right, so this is your pattern. Tyler, maybe next week you can do it. Yeah, you can stop.